Hello students, today we are going to start new chapter number 5, which is magnetism and matter. In previous chapter we have seen the magnetic effect of electric current, right? In this chapter we are going to see regarding the magnet. Okay. The term magnet, which is derived from the name of an island which is in Greece. The name of the island was Magnesia, where the magnetic ores are deposited and they are found early BC, 6000 early as 600 BC. The shepherds were roaming around and they complained that their shoes were get stuck. The shoes are wooden shoes, but they are having the pointed nails and they are getting stuck because of the magnet which is present over there. Also, same case happened with the stick, which are having the iron tip for the stick, and it is getting stuck in a ground. It is because the magnet shows the attractive property. Okay. Now, magnet has two dominant properties, that is directive property and other is attractive property. When the freely suspended magnet will get oriented along a north and south pole, which is used for navigation, to understand the direction properly. This is your directive property of the magnet. There is also attractive property which is shown by a magnet. The folk tale was told by the Chinese people that the Emperor Huang Tai was they defeated a enemy because they have built the craftsman, that means today's engineers. They built a statue on the boat, and the statue is continuously pointing towards the south pole, and because of this direction they can attack on an enemy from rear side in a dark fog, and they can defeat the enemy. Okay, so we can understand from this that it is known, magnetism is known to us from very past years. Okay, now some ideas regarding the magnetism, that earth behaves as a magnet with a magnetic field pointing from approximately geographic south to the geographic north pole. Now when bar magnet is freely suspended, it is get oriented along north-south direction, and the pole which is directed, that is the tip which is pointing towards the north, we are calling that tip as a north pole, and the tip which is pointing toward the south, we are calling it as a south pole. When two north pole, when we brought it together in contact with each other, or if we brought it near to each other, they will show the repulsion. And if south and north pole, when they brought in contact with each other or towards each other, then they will show the attractive force. So to north pole shows a repulsive force, to south pole shows the repulsive force, and north and south or south and north pole shows a attraction between, that is there is an attractive force between these two poles. Okay, it is possible to make a magnet out of iron and its alloys. Now this is the introductory part which we have seen regarding the magnet. Now the bar magnet is it is in the shape of rod or a bar. That's why we are calling it as a bar magnet. When we if we take a glass plate or glass sheet, and if we place a magnet, and if we on a magnet, if we place a glass plate and if we sprinkle iron fillings, then iron fillings will form in one particular pattern, and that pattern which will form will be like this. You can recall that this pattern we have already seen when a current carrying coil, when we have seen the current carrying coil, and if we see the pattern was like this, same pattern was there when we have seen the current is passing through the straight conductor, and if we sprinkle iron filling, we have got the same pattern. And if we take a bar magnet, and if we place a glass plate, and if we sprinkle iron fillings over there, we will be getting the same pattern over here. Now the term that is magnetic field lines, which we are going to see, which is 5.2.1. so give heading as magnetic field line. Give heading as magnetic field lines. Actually, these lines cannot be seen by your eye. These are the imaginary lines, and that lines will continuously represent the direction of the magnetic field. Okay, are you understanding? These lines, these magnetic field lines, these are the imaginary lines which we cannot see with our eye. Okay, these are the lines which will continuously show us a direction of the magnetic field. Now, if we consider a bar magnet, or if we consider a solenoid, then we can understand, we can see how it is showing you the direction of the magnetic field. See, suppose this is a bar magnet. I have told you, bar magnet means a magnet in a shape of rod or in a shape of bar. Suppose this is my N pole and this is my S pole, then magnetic field lines can be shown like this. Okay. It is forming a closed loop for the magnetic field lines. And this is the direction of the magnetic field which is shown. This is the axis of the bar magnet. The line which is passing through the two poles, we are calling it as the axis of a magnetic field. And these are the magnetic field lines. Direction of this magnetic field line will give you the direction of the magnetic field. And here this is shown. This is suppose my 2 and this is 1. This is a Gaussian field which is shown by these two circles. Now here we can say that the lines are close over here and lines are far away from each other. This shows that magnetic field is more over here and magnetic field is less over here. This is your bar magnet. This is your bar magnet. Now we can show the magnetic field for a solenoid also. Okay, for solenoid it is same, which you can see show by using these closed lines. Right, and this is your magnetic field. That is magnetic line, this is axis. Okay, again this is your shown by a Gaussian field which is shown over here 1 and Gaussian field which is shown over here 2. Now the electric dipole. Here I am going to show you the electric dipole. Suppose this is my positive and this is my two poles. They are starting from here and ending towards this, which is not the case in case of the magnetic field. Okay. This is my positive charge, this is my negative charge, and it is moving in this direction. These are the direction. Here I have shown you the electric dipole. This is the diagram for the electric dipole, and this is the current carrying solenoid. Current carrying finite solenoid. Okay, these are the magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines are imaginary lines which will show you the direction of the magnetic field. This is my bar magnet, this is the current carrying finite solenoid, and this shows the electric dipole. Okay. So these 1, 1, 2, 2, this shows a Gaussian field, here we can say that they are close to each other. So Gaussian field at 2 is more than Gaussian field at 1. So some important properties of magnetic lines which we can summarize as, first of all, you write down the definition of magnetic field lines. I will dictate the definition. Please write down. The magnetic field lines of a magnetic field are, the magnetic field lines of a magnetic field are imaginary lines which continuously represent direction of the magnetic field. You can draw this diagram also for this, for bar magnet, current carrying solenoid, and for electric dipole. Now, magnetic field lines of a magnet will form a closed loop. Here you can see that it is forming a closed loop. Unlike the electric dipole, this line begins from positive N. N term is considered as a positive pole. The pole strength, if we consider this bar magnet, and if this is my N pole and if this is my S pole, here we are going to consider N as a positive QM, its pole strength is positive, and S is having the negative pole strength. Okay, so it is moving from the positive charge and N towards a negative charge or escape to the infinity. The tangent to this field line, if you draw a tangent to the field line, it will give you the direction of the net magnetic field at that point. So if we want to have the net magnetic field, we have to draw a tangent to the line. Now, larger the magnetic field, the larger the magnetic field lines, then magnetic field will be more. Okay, so the Gaussian surface 2, around which here the magnetic field lines are more, and here they are less. So you can say that magnetic field at 2 is more than magnetic field at 1. The next is magnetic field line do not intersect with each other. They will always move from positive and in towards each, but they do not intersect with each other. Then we have different patterns for the magnetic field line, that is uniform magnetic field and non-uniform magnetic field can be shown by using the symbols. See, if I have drawn the magnetic field lines like this, then it is showing me uniform magnetic field. Uniform magnetic field, right? And if it is shown like this, then it is non-uniform. It is non-uniform magnetic field. You can show the non-uniform magnetic field like this also. These two lines shows a non-uniform magnetic field, and these they are equidistant. So you can say that it is a uniform magnetic field. Okay, so this is regarding the magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines will show you give you the direction of the magnetic field, and there are some properties. First property which we have seen, that magnetic field lines of a magnet will start from it will form a continuous closed loop. It will start from the positive charge and end towards the negative charge. They do not coincide with each other. Now, if we want to have the net magnetic field, then we have to draw a tangent to the given point, and it will give you the direction of the magnetic field. Larger number of magnetic field lines, that means the more, that is the stronger will be the magnetic field. And this shows you the uniform magnetic field, and this shows you the non-uniform magnetic field. Now we'll see the different pattern of magnetic field lines. We'll see, write down, give heading as different patterns of the magnetic field lines. Give heading as different patterns for the magnetic field. If my bar magnet is there, we have seen that it is forming the closed loop. If it is my N pole and if it is S pole, it is starting from here and it may move like this, right? the direction can be shown like this. It is starting from here. This is my N pole, this is S pole. Some may go to infinity. Okay. This is my magnetic field lines. Okay. This is for bar magnet. Now magnetic field lines for horseshoe magnet, which we have seen in case of a moving coil galvanometer. It is in like this. Okay. If this is my horseshoe, then it is moving like this. It is complete its path like this. It will move at its close. It will complete its path like this. This is a magnetic field lines for a horseshoe magnet. Now, when the in the property or in first introduction, we have seen that if we take two north and south pole towards each other, it will show you the attractive property. Same thing will be for the, suppose this is my one magnet, bar magnet, and this is my second bar magnet. Now, if this pole is N pole, I will show you the same width. This is N pole, and if it is S pole, then my magnetic field line move from N pole to the S pole, right? So direction of the magnetic field line will be shown like this, right? Now it is coming towards S pole and it is moving away from N pole. So direction can be shown like this if N and S poles are near to each other. So magnetic field lines between two unlike poles. This diagram shows magnetic field lines between two unlike poles. Okay, now we'll see if they are like pole. That means if we consider N and N poles of a bar magnet which are close to each other. If this is my N pole, this is my N pole. Then it starts from N pole, but it will not move towards N pole. There is a force of repulsion. So it will move like this. Right? Okay, this is the magnetic field lines between the like pole. These two, if we take a S and S, it is moving towards, but it will not cross each other. Okay, so magnetic field lines between, I will write over here, the magnetic field lines between two like poles. These are the information regarding the magnetic field line. Okay. Now we will move towards a bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid. Okay. So give heading as bar magnet as a equivalent solenoid. Okay, now we'll be seeing the 5.2.2, that is bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid. Now current loop will act as a dipole. Magnetic dipole means what? The two charges which are separated with some finite distance, that we are calling it as a dipole, right? And the current loop, if we consider a loop, this current loop, if the current is moving this direction, we can consider this as a two charges which are separated with small distance, and it will form a magnetic dipole. Okay. Now when the current we consider as a current loop as a magnetic dipole, then the magnetic dipole moment, that is M, is given by N I N to A, right? We have seen in a previous chapter M is equal to N I A, which is magnetic moment of this dipole when we have considered a current carrying loop. N is what? Number of turns. I is current which is flowing through it, and A is your area vector of that magnet. Okay, so this is your magnetic moment. Now the current carrying solenoid will resembles same as the bar magnet, right? The current carrying solenoid will have the large number of turns, and if we consider a bar magnet, then the bar magnet can be thought as a large number of circulating currents, current same as a solenoid. Now if we cut a solenoid into two parts, it will have the two solenoids with weaker the magnetic properties. Okay. Now if we consider if we want to find out the magnetic field at point P because of this solenoid, what we want to show, the bar magnet as an equivalent solenoid. So we are going to calculate the magnetic field at point P because of the solenoid, and then we are going to equate the same formula which we are getting for a bar magnet also. Okay. Now you consider this is a solenoid. There is a point P which is at a distance r from its axis. The small a is a radius of a solenoid, and the solenoid consists of a large number of circulating current. It will form a dipole, that is magnetic moment. Okay. Now to calculate a magnetic moment, we will consider a small length, that is dx, small current loop whose length is dx over here, and this dx is at a distance x from the center of your solenoid. Okay, it is at a distance x. So A is its radius, point P is at a distance r from its axis, L, the length of the solenoid is 2L, right? So this distance will be half, that will be L, and we have considered a dx current carrying loop, a small distance, and it is at a distance of x. Now in previous chapter only we have calculated the magnetic field of a circulating current coiling along its axis, right? It was like this. This is my current carrying coil, and I want to have the magnetic field at this point P. Okay, and we have calculated the magnetic field on the axis of a circular current loop, that was mu 0 I r square 2 x square plus r square raised to 3 by 2. That was our formula which we had derived in previous case, if we have considered a circular current carrying loop. Now what I want here, consider this a circular current carrying loop and calculate a magnetic field at a point because of a small element dx. There are n number of elements which we can consider. This solenoid is divided into small dx, and if we integrate it, then we can have the total magnetic field because of the throughout the length of the solenoid. Okay, so first we will consider a magnetic field because of the small element dx. We will be considering it as a dB. Okay, now r is the in previous case r we have considered as a radius, right? Here we have our radius is a, so we will replace the r by a in this equation, then x. Now the distance x is equal to, what is the distance x over here? Distance x is total length which is your r, right? This length is r, and r minus x is small x, so it is r minus x in this equation x which we are considering. Okay, now the current I, what will be your current I? There are n number of turns I which is passing through a small element dx. Now you replace all these terms in this equation, and you will be getting the dB is equal to, see, mu 0. Now this I term n dx I which have replaced n I dx, r which is the radius in previous case, here we have considered radius as a, so it will be a square, right, to as it is. X is the distance, and that distance is r minus x, so r minus x bracket square, again r is equal to your a raised to 3 by 2. Okay, now this is the magnetic field which I am getting because of the small element of your current carrying element whose thickness is dx. If I want to have the total magnetic field, then I will integrate it. What will be the limit? Finite integration I am going to do. What will be its limit? It will be minus L to plus L, right? So if you want to integrate this, it will mu 0 n I a square and 2 are constant. So we will take it outside the integration. My limits for the integration of minus L to L and dx and minus x bracket square plus a square raised to 3 by 2 term inside your integration. Now, if along the axis, if I want to calculate the magnetic field here, R will be greater than A and R will be greater than L. So, we can ignore this term. So, if we ignore this term, we will be getting as this denominator, concentrate on denominator. This denominator will be approximately equal to R cube because this will get cancelled out. R square raised to 3 by 2. So, 2 will get cancelled. It is R cube. Okay. So, it is B mu 0 n I a square upon 2 R cube into, it will not be R cube. It's only 2. Okay. Now, you are going to put a value of taking limit minus L to L, it's R cube, which we are going to put a value of this R cube over here. Then it will be if you are going to put a limit for that, it will be not, it is a dx only, not R cube. Here dx only and this R cube will be in denominator, right? You are going to integrate it with limit minus L to L. Now you put a limit, upper limit minus lower limit, L minus of minus L, it will become 2L. So its integration will be 2L, right? So mu 0 ni 2L a square upon 2 R cube is the magnetic field at a point P because of the solenoid. But magnitude of magnetic moment M is equal to NIA, that is N are number of turns, I is the current and A is your area, right? So here M is equal to N, I will be 2L into I and area will be pi R square, right? So if you replace all this term in this equation, here you have to multiply by 2 pi and divide by 2 pi over here, right? If you multiply by 2 pi, now see mu 0, this mu 0 is there. Now if you multiply by 2 pi, it will become 4 pi. So this term is there. Now this n 2l I pi a square, if you put this value, it will become 2 times because we have multiplied with the 2 pi, right? So it is coming out to be 2m and it is R square as it is, R cube as it is. So my B is equal to mu 0 4 pi 2m upon R cube. So thus bar magnet and a solenoid produces a similar magnetic field, and magnetic moment of a bar magnet is equal to the magnetic moment of your magnetic moment of an solenoid. So both of them are equal. Okay, so we can, from this equation we can say that bar magnet we can treat is equivalent to the solenoid. Okay, now we will revise it once again, and in next session we will have the numerical based on this, and we will see what is the pole strength and all that. Okay, so look at this. This is the solenoid having the length 2L. There is a one point P which is at a distance R from its axis. A is its radius. Dx is a small element which we have considered, because of which what will be the magnetic field at point P that we want to calculate. That dx is at a distance x from the axis. So magnetic field, here we are considered this value from the previous chapter which we have already derived, that is the magnetic field because of the circular current carrying coil, that was mu 0 I R square 2x square plus R square raised to 3 by 2. Here we are going to replace the values because your radius over here is A, x is the distance which is my R minus x, total distance is R, I want to have the R minus x distance. Okay, I is equal to number of turns I into dx. So you replace this value in this equation. So dB is equal to mu 0, you replace I as a n dx I, R is replaced as a square 2 r minus x square plus s square raised to 3 by 2. This is the magnetic field because of the small strip. I want to have the total magnetic field because of the solenoid. So it will be integration of this term. Now mu 0 n I a square are the constants, so I am taking it outside the integration side and I am going to integrate this. But when I am considering this axial field of a solenoid, if I am considering the axial field of the solenoid, r is greater than L and r is greater than L. So I am going to ignore all the, it will get cancelled out. So this denominator become r cube. Now if you put this value over here, integration of dx, which is upper limit minus lower limit. So it will be L minus of minus L, it will become 2L. This is the magnetic field, and if we want to put in terms of a magnetic moment is equal to NIA. Now here I will be 2L, now N will be N, I will be 2L into I, and A will be pi r square. Now to take it in terms of M, I am going to multiply and divide by 2 pi. So it will become 4 pi over here, mu 0 same, Ni, and this will be 2La square into 2 pi. It will become a 2m upon r cube, which is same as that of the bar magnet. Okay, so we can say that the bar magnet and solenoid produces similar magnetic